And at this point, joining us on the broadcast is Reham Khan herself to speak a little bit about that entire episode. Reham, we saw what happened. We saw the question that you were asked and the way you responded. But tell us of the moments that led to that confrontation. What happened in the few moments before this video was recorded, and what was running through your mind throughout that entire episode?
Well, I'm used to this kind of behavior, and I know who these people are. And you see, what is upsetting to me is not that somebody targets me personally. Me and my children have been putting up with this kind of behavior for the last over 3 years now, even when I was Imran's wife. And I know how the party works. I know how Imran personally encourages this kind of behavior towards his opponents. He calls it jununi. And it flatters his ego. It flatters the top tier leadership's ego. They have these paid people. This woman actually followed me into the park, and what happened on the day was that normally when somebody asks me for an interview opportunity, I'm never in London, so whenever I drop into London, a lot of journalists then ask for interviews, and we either book a place or they book a place to do this. On that occasion, this gentleman had previously done an interview, and I respect him a lot, and he got a little bit late. So he turned up a little bit late, and I was out on a picnic with my family and friends, and I didn't want to sort of say no to him. So I said, look, I'm here now. We can do a short bit because, you're a little bit late. This is where I am. And he set up somewhere close to where I was with the family. And so I walked over to him and did this, just a little piece to camera that he wanted. And this lady had been following me around, and I had not noticed the interviewer happened to be from Indian origin, and he was from CNN. And it was embarrassing for me that this gentleman must think that all Pakistani women are like this, or all Pakistanis are like this. I can assure you that the Pakistani Twitter paid media agents and the mouthpieces and women like this, they are a minority, a very small minority that is a cult following, that has been brainwashed, that is paid to do these things. And they've been following me around all over London whenever I'm in London. And every single time I've been in London, you've seen me because of these people who follow me around. We, and my children and I have had to restrict our lifestyles, which is very unfair to my children. Luckily for us, fortunately for us, we don't have a very active social life, or we don't really go out that much, but it's unfair. I think it's too much to be hounding my children and to be invading our privacy. And of course, this is an attempt to scare me, threaten me, bully me. What it really does is it actually exposes themselves. So I'm a great believer in, things happen for a reason, and actually this happened 2 weeks ago, and we videoed this woman as well and found out who she was and who she was working for, because she had a lot of space in her mobile phone, and she sort of, followed us around and was harassing the interviewer also. But I do feel that this kind of behavior is now going to increase. This was already this fascism we've seen on media, that Imran doesn't like anyone who criticizes him. Anyone who's interviewed me in the last 3 years has immediately received a phone call personally from him. And I've heard these recorded conversations. I've heard him on the speaker, bully my channel owner, other people, interviewers who interview me. And of course, now that he's going to be PM, there's going to be a lot more fascism. There's going to be a lot more threatening and bullying. The gentleman who interviewed me, soon after the book was released, immediately the channel was threatened and all advertising was pulled from the channel. The channel has been so severely disciplined now that they can't use the word rigging on the channel anymore. The second lady who interviewed me was given a rough time for 24 hours on the internet. She was trolled. She was called all sorts of names. Photographs were photoshopped. She was accused of and she did a very tough interview. I thought she was grilling me throughout the interview, but nobody is allowed to give any coverage to me in Pakistan. What this woman was saying, there is UK, US, and India are giving me coverage. People in the UAE are giving me coverage. Pakistani media are threatened if they give me coverage. Similarly, the CNN international lady who interviewed me got a torrent of abuse, and they went public with it. So this is the sort of fascism. This is much worse than a martial law dictator. This is actually much worse than that, and we're going to see a lot more of that, because they will not tolerate dissent, they will not tolerate criticism, and they will go personally to people's homes, they will invade people's privacies. We've seen them do this to the Sharifs. We've seen them cause physical injury by throwing shopping trolleys at people who are friends of the Sharifs. We've seen them kicking front doors. Now, that isn't legal, but this kind of behavior is encouraged by the party. I have witnessed it myself.